We cannot ensure success, but we can deserve it. John Adams, Letter to Abigail Adams, 1776. Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis faced a grim puzzle. In 1847, the Viennese hospital where he worked had 2 maternity wards with vastly different mortality rates. The ward run by the doctors had a maternal death rate of 1 in 5. But in the ward run by the midwives, the death rate was only 1 in 50. Semmelweis believed that doctors were the cause. Because only the doctors both performed autopsies and delivered babies, he suspected, decades before germ theory was commonly accepted, that the doctors were transferring something fatal from the dead to the living. Semmelweis suggested a simple change, that doctors wash their hands between the 2 procedures. Even though the maternal mortality rate dropped as a result, Semmelweis's colleagues ultimately rejected the change and him. Why? Because Semmelweis's theory didn't ring true with his colleagues' pre-existing beliefs about the causes of disease and about themselves. They believed not only that disease was carried by miasmas, that is, infected air, but also that as gentlemen doctors, they were clean by nature. Given those 2 beliefs, it was impossible for them to agree that they were contributing to the cause of death. As soon as Semmelweis left and hand-washing stopped, mortality rates soared again. Frustrated, Semmelweis publicly and ferociously berated those who opposed his idea, which, as you might imagine, did little to help him convince his audience. 7 years later, Florence Nightingale was nursing soldiers during the Crimean War. She also faced high mortality rates caused by infections among her patients. Like Semmelweis, she lacked knowledge of germ theory and focused on improving hygiene as a possible solution. Unlike Semmelweis, however, Nightingale was successful in making hand-washing a standard practice for doctors. Her colleagues directly credited her with reducing mortality, and history now remembers her as a pioneer of modern nursing. Why did Semmelweis fail and Nightingale succeed? The primary difference was their approach to creating change among the doctors they worked with. Semmelweis directly challenged his colleagues' long-standing beliefs, especially about their gentlemanly cleanliness, and emphasized how they were making the problem worse. Nightingale, however, took a more aligned approach. She positioned hand-washing as one of a number of measures to remove what the miasmas left behind. The doctors weren't the villains, the air was. Even though her reasoning was ultimately incorrect, by introducing a life-saving practice without confronting established norms, the change was easier to implement and its effects endured. Semmelweis and Nightingale demonstrate the negative and positive consequences of this principle. How you introduce a change can make or break your change efforts right from the beginning. What this principle means. Many of us view change as an action people take. Although that's true, it usually starts as a reaction to a change in something else, much of which is out of our control. For example, when the temperature drops, you grab a sweater. When the stock market drops, you find ways to cut expenses or opportunities to invest. You can't control the economy, you can't control the competition, you can't control world events. Even when you control which change to implement, you can't control someone's reaction to it. But how a person reacts to a proposed change, especially when they're first introduced to it, is the key to whether that change happens in the first place. It's also key to how long support for it lasts.